He was President Trump's national security advisor. He was unfairly and it looks like illegally targeted by the FBI and rogue prosecutors. General Flynn, recently pardoned by the President of the United States. So great to have you here on Newsmax, sir. How are you tonight?
I'm doing great, Greg. Thanks for having me.
You bet. You bet. First off, listen, you're an intel expert. There's not much that's happening in America that you don't know or is going on in the cyber world. Your take overall on the election and what should happen next?
I think that well, number one, President Trump won on the 3rd of November. The things that he needs to do right now is he needs to appoint a special counsel immediately. He needs to seize all of these Dominion and these other voting machines that we have across the country. He needs to go ahead and prioritize by state and probably by county. Fulton County, Maricopa County, as an example, exactly what they did up in Antrim County, Michigan, and what they discovered. I think if he looks at probably a couple of random sampling of some of these counties, he's going to find exactly the same problem. These machines are clearly there is a foreign influence that is tied to this system, and it goes back to China, likely goes to Russia, likely goes to Iran. We know that Venezuela has participated in the development of these machines. There's been problems all over the country with them. This not only Dominion, but also this Smartmatic software. So he's got a couple of options that he can take, and he needs to take them. He needs to take them right now.
So I hear some murmurings, you know, about the staff shakeup at the Pentagon. And they're putting people in place who might not be opposed to aggressive action. And the president does have some options, at least on paper. Can you tell us what those options are and your opinion, if he might take any of them?
Well, I don't know if he's going to take any of these options. I mean, the president has to plan for every eventuality, because we cannot allow this election and the integrity of our election to go the way it is. I mean, this is just totally unsatisfactory. There's no way in the world that we are going to be able to move forward as a nation with this. So the president has and I just mentioned one of the options. I mean, he could immediately, on his order, seize every single one of these machines around the country on his order. He could also order, within the swing states, if he wanted to, he could take military capabilities and he could place them in those states and basically rerun an election in each of those states. I mean, it's not unprecedented. I mean, these people out there talking about martial law, it's like it's something that we've never done. Martial law has been instituted 64 times, Greg. So I'm not calling for that. We have a constitutional process. We clearly have a constitutional process. I think you highlighted some of that in your previous segment. That has to be followed. But I will tell you that I'm a little concerned about Chief Justice John Roberts at the Supreme Court. I mean, that we can't fool around with the fabric of the Constitution of the United States. And I think that right now the Constitution, if the Supreme Court doesn't get involved in at least making sure that the fabric of that Constitution is held together, and all they have to do is look at the evidence. They have to look at the evidence. I'm not certain. In fact, I don't believe that the Supreme Court of the United States has even looked at the merit of any of the cases that have been put forward yet. What they've been looking at is process files, whether somebody crossed a T or dotted an I. And that's unsatisfactory. That is, to me, that lacks courage. It lacks moral fiber within the Chief Justice, and frankly within the members of the Supreme Court. And I actually think that this is an unprecedented time. It's a crucible moment in our history, and we should expect much more out of the Supreme Court. And clearly, the other thing I would say, and I'll stop, is I expect much more out of the Republican Party. They need to start standing up and fighting for this president.
So many of them, I think in their heart of hearts, I'm talking about the swamp. They want to go back to.
They're all worried about Georgia. They're all worried about this runoff in Georgia. It's a fake election. You can't have another election on the same system. It's a broken system, and we cannot allow a system that's tied to foreign powers to be used to vote for the president or any elective office in our country.
Yeah, listen, I know about first the Republicans, the leadership. Yeah, let's face it, a lot of them they'd breathe a sigh of relief if Donald Trump left the stage. They would. And I think that's a shame.
Lack courage.
They what?
They are weak and they lack courage.
There's
a few of them, but there's not enough of them.
I'm not going to argue with you. I do think, although from my perspective up here, I do think it's important to vote in the Georgia election, but I know what you mean about the systems down there, and they haven't been corrected. Do me a favor, General, I want to bring you to two other things. Why is Barack Obama so afraid of you? It's very interesting. There was the transition meeting 4 years ago this month, or last month, I guess. Barack Obama in the Oval Office with Donald Trump. And the report is that he warned Donald Trump about two things. Kim Jong-un, the leader of North Korea, and you. That's it. I find that interesting. Why would he single out of all the people in the world, all the people in the government, you?
Yeah. Public enemy number one, right? According to Barack Obama. You know, there's so many things that would not have happened had they not targeted me to target Donald Trump, really during his campaign. And now we know it goes way back, goes even further back. So there are so many outcomes or so many consequences from what they did to me to target the president of the United States, therefore targeted the American people. And they basically did such severe damage to our country over the last 4 years. I mean, it's crazy how much the President Trump was able to accomplish. But Barack Obama, what he did in his previous administration, what they did to not only myself and my family, but President Trump, his family, and our country, was to really tear apart, as much as they could. And frankly, because, we're still in this process, we're still in sort of this coup effort, and we're feeling it right now in this fraudulent election that we just cannot allow stand. Something more has to be.
General, I found this moment so wild. Lying, it seems, comes very easy to former Vice President Joe Biden. And he was caught. And this is one of the times I'll give credit to George Stephanopoulos on the Good Morning America show. Watch this. You've probably seen the clip, but it's pretty fascinating. Check it out.
What did you know about those moves to investigate Michael Flynn, and was there anything improper done?
I know nothing about those moves to investigate Michael Flynn, number one. Number two, this is all about diversion.
You were reported to be at a January 5th, 2017 meeting where you and the president were briefed on the FBI's plan to question Michael Flynn over those conversations he had with the Russian ambassador Kislyak.
Now, I thought you asked me whether or not I had anything to do with him being prosecuted.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I was aware that they asked for an investigation, but that's all I know about it.
I mean, he's busted right there.
What he had was a Sergeant Schultz moment. I know nothing. I see nothing. I hear nothing. I mean, this is the Vice President of the United States at the time in the Oval Office, and we now know this. And now he's going to be what? He's going to be our next president? Not through this election. We have got to get this election fixed.
I agree.
We've got to
stand by. We've got cases on the docket, January 6th, and who knows what can happen. You know what? Who knows? And just let's see what happens. And I know folks close to the president, you, others, working hard. General Michael Flynn, United States Army, retired. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you for your service, Greg.
Thank you, sir, very much.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in more than 70 million homes. You can get Newsmax TV on your cable system or check your cable guide. And if your system doesn't carry Newsmax, call them, tell them you want Newsmax TV, because we're real news for real people.